same.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the live stream for Coach Seb Gagnon. Our usual programming was altered, which normally happens on Saturdays, was altered because Natalie and myself were out to a powerlifting meet, which was Barbell Assault 6, which happened yesterday, March 26th. This meet was initially scheduled for January and was pushed to February due to sanitary issues with COVID and stuff. And then in February, it was pushed back to March. And while this has been somewhat of a setback, it just happened that it went matched perfectly with our training schedule for our cycle, and it was right at the end of our peaking and tapering cycle in our programming. And Natalie's following some kind of same type of training as I did, so we're pretty much in sync. So Natalie was participating as well. That was her first meet. Mine was the second time. And so when I was going there, I was just hoping to beat my previous records. But Natalie was going there to experience powerlifting for the first time. So she's here with us today to discuss this.
Hello. No. Not much to say. It was a wonderful experience. I wanted to beat some world records, national records, but I went there with thinking I can do too much, but ended up doing pretty good. So
pretty good. No, you did awesome.
Okay, thanks.
So the whole meet was organized by Kurt Haas, who owns Iron Haas Gear and now has an open gym in Ottawa called Iron Haas Gym. Sorry. It was sanctioned by the WPC Canada Powerlifting. So this is World Powerlifting Congress, basically. There will be nationals in June, which I intend to participate, and which I should probably go there right now to register instead of doing the stream. But this stream was already scheduled in our to do today to do a recap of the event, and we'll do the registration after. So we have here a little bit of footage from the event that we would like to go through. Just some of the recap here. All right, so we'll go through Natalie's lift first. Just for the people that probably haven't experienced a powerlifting meet or competition, when you go there, basically they organize all the lifters into flights, and this is then scheduled per weight, and this is not to scale people based on they're good or not. It's just because for the flow of the meet, it's easier to always add weight to a bar instead of always removing and putting back weight. So they're all classified in how much weight it's going to be lifted. So flight A, flight B, that's how it was scheduled. And pretty much flight A's bench press all went first, and then flight B's bench press all went first. And one of the first thing that the organizers asks an athlete that's going to participate there is your openers for each lift. So this was a push-pull event. Push means bench press, and pull means deadlift. Some other meet, like the nationals in June, there will be the squat which will be included in it. But in this particular event, this was just a push-pull. And the organizer asks you for your opener, basically, and that because during the competition you have 3 attempts for each of the lifts. So you have 3 attempts at bench press, 3 attempts at the deadlift, and the organizers ask you for your opener, and just so that he can organize all the flights and see which one's the lowest weight and all the way up to which one has the highest weight. At that point, then the first flight can go, and then the lifting starts from there. Obviously, there's sometimes some strategies. In order to conserve energy, your opener should be, lower, something that you can normally do for like 3 reps. You never go in with an opener to break a record or anything. It should be something that's easy to do. It's kind of I see my opener and my second attempt as my warm-ups to my third attempt, which is your target weight that you want to lift at the competition. It could be a PR, it could be a record, it could be thing, but it's the highest amount of weight that you intend to lift at the meet. So all your first and second should be a percentage of that, and I see them as a warm-up to the third. Anyways, in this particular event, Natalie's opener for the bench press was...
Well, 100 pounds, but 50 kilograms.
Your first opener is right here. Oh, yeah, that's right. Unfortunately, we don't have footage of your opener because I was warming up at that point and I couldn't be there to film. And we probably should scour the website from Iron Hoss gear, see if there's any footage of that we can salvage.
But to make it more interesting, I was the first one to lift in front of everybody.
She was the first lifter in the first flight A.
I broke the ice.
And I wasn't even there to watch it. I went into the room after my warm up, and she was stepping off the platform, and I got a little sad not seeing her very first lift in competition. But I mean, I get to see the other better lifts. I mean, it was an opener, right? So it was intended to be easy anyways, and it was sad, but I was there for the important parts, which is great. So Natalie's openers were for the bench press was
50. It was 50, and then my second one was 55.
It was 50 kilos.
My first one was 100 pounds, was 50 kilos.
So if I put in 130 here to get your temps, I think it was more than that.
No, it's because it was 125.
We had set your third attempt to be 125. I think it was 110. Was it?
Oh,
it's
50. Yeah, it's 110 pounds. I'll say
so
better.
50 kilos is 110 pounds. So here in Canada, we're confused about metrics. Basically, we're still stuck with imperial, which only the U.S. uses anyways, but internationally for powerlifting, for any type of weight measurement, it's kilos, people. Kilos, right? Metric system is a standard, and here in Canada, we're just not sure if we're supposed to be pounds or kilos or whatever, but the powerlifting meet was all in kilos, and even here in my gym, all my plates are in pounds. So when I train in pounds. So that's an extra layer of complication when you go and decide what your weight is going to be at the meet. Is you always have to convert your pound to kilos. So her opener was 50 kilos, which equates to 110 pounds, and normally Natalie can do that for 3 or 4 reps, right? So it was an easy one. It's just meant to break the ice and, start the lifting, basically. And I wasn't there, but I'm sure she did great.
I did. It was easy.
It was pretty easy, but at a first powerlifting meet, you're very, very nervous. And the shaking doesn't come because it's hard to lift. It's because you're very nervous. When I got into the room, she was stepping off the platform and she was shaking.
No.
Yes, you were. But the ice was broken at that point, and she was pretty proud. It's quite something to know that it's a weight that you can easily lift, but the constant fear of failing and being in front of all these people is just like, what if a plane comes crashing down and I miss the lift, right? It's just it's just our nature to worry about those things. But you know, it's all fun and games. So your first opener was 110 pounds. How did you feel after doing that?
Oh, I felt great. I was ready for the second one.
All right, so we should move to the second. Your
Yes.
second was, I think it was 121 pounds.
It
right?
was 55
kilos.
kilos, yeah.
So you went to. Oh, somebody's. Okay, some GC is trying to. All right, so that was 121 pounds, 55 kilos, and we do have footage of that, and I think it went pretty well, right?
Yeah, I went well. It was an easy lift.
We're gonna look at this. This computer is not really fast, but eventually the video will open. Ah, there we go. Oh, I went to the wrong screen here. Hold on. There. So as Natalie stepped on the platform, she had my glasses on her head because I had went for my first.
All right, let's make some noise.
Mon coude était droite.
Yeah, lift is good.
So funny fact here, you can see when a lifter or an athlete comes for their first meet, which she's a newbie, they use chalk to put an X on their shirt. This is not to be derogative. This is to let the crowd know that it's their first meet and to feel them welcome, so that they give extra applause and extra cheer and extra hype to help her get through her first time, or his time if it would be a first lifter.
Well, they also told me that they're more lenient towards some of the rules because I'm a new lifter. So if I were to not wait till press, like they're more lenient towards the newer lifters, I guess.
Yeah, less picky, or yeah. But they did say though that your first lift, no matter like your opener, your very first one, they are giving it to you. Basically, even if you broke, like if it normally would be 3 red lights. We should probably talk about the lighting, but anyways, there are 3 judges and then there are 3 lights. So in order for a lift to be good, you need 2 green lights out of 3. So if you have 1 red light, it's still a good lift. Obviously, if you have 3 green lights, it's a good lift. But with 2 red lights, then it's a no lift, right? But for your very first competition, for your very first meet, if it's your very first one, they will give you the first lift to you, like regardless.
Then I should have done 132. The first one, they would have gave it to me anyways.
Yes, but he did mention something. If it's a record, it
but
would not count.
But it wasn't
as
a record.
Right. And it wouldn't count for your total.
No, okay.
But anyways. So yeah. And here she got 3 green lights. You can see the green lights on the right side of the screen there. It's just behind the spotter.
Well, to be fair, the lights are not green; they're white. But
yeah, 3 white lights. Sorry. And it's true. I keep calling them green lights, and I don't know why. They're actually white lights. You need 3 white lights in powerlifting instead of 3 red ones. All right. So that was your second one. It moved very well. I mean, you had total control of the eccentric. And
All right, let's make
Natalie
some
just
noise.
learned about leg drive a few weeks ago. And it's just doing a great job at maintaining her brace and leg drive. Leg drive was there.
Lift is good.
That was a very nice lift. Now, normally, I think what we had planned for a third attempt was 127 pounds, I think, right?
Yes, but it was between 127 or 132, and I had lifted 130 already, so I wanted to lift more than 130. So I said 32. That's not too bad. I can do 2 extra pounds.
Exactly. So you see, in training, this is an extra complication layer that when in training, we train with pound plates, so we know what our capacity is with that. Meaning, in training, Natalie's best bench press is 130 pounds. So if you come to convert that to kilos, you can't make 130 to kilos. It's either 127, which is
57.5.
yeah, hold on. We have to. Why isn't the keyboard coming back? All right, 135 for your attempts. So 127 pounds is 57.5 kilos, and the increments goes by 2.5 kilos, which is not really equaling 5 pounds. It's roughly that, but not exactly. So 57.5 kilos gives you 127 pounds, but if you jump to 60 kilos, then it's 132. So, you have to make a decision at this point. Is like, that your best is 130, and then if you want to stay on a safe side, you do 57.5 kilos with 127. You can do it because obviously you've done the 130. But then, you want to try and push yourself because one, when you go to a meet, you've got a pre-workout, you're on stims, you've got a sugar rush, and everything to fuel you. And then you're like, yeah, I'm gonna try. It's 2 more pounds. And honestly, our decision was quite sound, and she went for 60 kilos instead of 57.5. So she attempted 132, and it was so close, so close. It was like
2 pounds. 2 pounds.
All right, let's see here. It's loading. Loading. I don't know why it keeps opening across like that. So here we see the 132 pounds left, so 60 kilos.
I still had my leg dry.
Yeah. And it was so close.
No.
That right there, you would. Why won't it go again? Windows is not cooperating with me. Alright, let's play that again. And you see, if we look at the technique, so off the chest right there, she's off the chest. Basically, when you're at the lowest point and you start lifting, everything is on the chest. And as you get off the chest, then your shoulders start taking over, and then the lockout is the triceps. And at this point here, we can see her sticking point is not the chest, because otherwise the bar wouldn't even get off her chest at that point. And she got it off the chest. She's almost there. And right here in this position, her shoulders are trying to push, and that's her sticking point, is the shoulders right here. Just 2 more inches, then it would be the triceps. And it was really, really close. Like, you can see the leg drive is really active here. Like, your bum is sticking out.
I thought I lost my leg drive, but that wasn't the case.
No, the leg drive is really active. You probably could have braced a little bit more, but you can see that it was really pushing you backwards. And this is really close. It's like
No.
your shoulders was just not.
But they had already given me a red light in the first one. That means my ass went up the seat.
I'm not sure. Let's see here. No. It's probably because the barbell moved down a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
no.
no.
So as soon as the spotters took the bar, it was a no lift, so you got all 3 red lights.
Oh well.
Also, one thing to keep in mind is that when you go to a meet, depending on how many lifters there are, it could take quite a while. Sometimes it can be like 3, 4, or 5 hours, right? And between your lifts, for a certain lift, there can be like maybe 5-10 minutes. And then when you go from bench press to deadlift, well, there could be like 2 hours in between, right? So if you're taking in some stimulants like caffeine or whatever, a pre-workout, and then sugar, anything with your food, keep your muscles fed basically, and water retention, intracellular water retention. You have to plan it, basically. It doesn't last forever. I mean, caffeine pill doesn't last for like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours there. So at this point, we're not sure how long this is going to take. And I wanted to put more emphasis on the deadlift. These were the lifts I really wanted to push or pull. But the bench press, I was not intending to make any records beyond what I was capable of. But at that point, because we weren't sure, Natalie decided to wait a little bit because she really wanted to go for the deadlift record. So she waited to take her pre-workout and the caffeine pills until after bench was done. And at this point, right here, the third attempt, we just had breakfast. She had no stimulants. She had no carbs. She had no water retention, anything. And she was really close to getting it. It was just a matter of just like one extra muscle fiber would have gone up, and possibly the pre-workout could have helped on that one. You would have gotten it, but. I mean, it's your first meet. It's stuff you get from experience and see how the flow goes and take your decision on when you take your stims, and it's not easy.
I know. It's an experience.
Me, I took them. I decided to take them anyways. And if the caffeine was off, then I'd either pop another pill, which I'd probably be like having a heart rate of 170. At that point with 400 milligrams of caffeine. But I was intending, like, if the effects were off on the deadlift, I would just like pop a whole bag of sweets or something just to get the sugar rush for my last push, pull. But anyways, I didn't need to, but we still had a lot of sweets in between the lifts for the deadlift, so it was fun. So that was the bench press for Natalie. Also, a funny fact, we were separated in 2 flights. This was a competition with both men and women. And obviously, no disrespect or anything here, is like women naturally doesn't lift as much as men. And so the flights were separated in terms of weights to be lifted, right? So obviously the lowest weight goes first, and then the highest weight goes last. And the 2 flights were separated, and there was a cut in between. And it so happens that all women were in flight A, and there weren't any women in flight B, right?
Nope.
No. So all women were in flight A, and almost all men were in flight B, except one. That was me. Yes, that was me. I was the only one competing in the 82.5 kilogram category, weight class category. I was the lightest man in that competition. Every other man, I think were all over 100 kilos.
100 kilos, yeah.
Yeah, with the flights. So I ended up being the last and always going after all the women.
It's after me
Yeah.
for your bench.
Well, I wasn't directly after you. You were going after me because I was the last and you were the first, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
when
Right.
it went
Yeah.
back for the second attempts, it was
Yeah.
back at you. So, but yeah, it was humbling. But you know, it's always the impression that, well, I don't lift that heavy. When I look at all these guys lifting like 500, 600 pounds, I'm like, holy crap, that's heavy, man. But it goes with your body weight. I mean, the expectation that you to lift that kind of weight has to come with the expectation that you need more body weight to come with it. The feat of lifting a weight has to be compared with your current body weight. I mean, if somebody lifts 500 pounds at 180 pounds, that's actually very, very, very freaking impressive, right? And it's always that constant thing that we don't always take into perspective. Even myself, I mean, I'm still in that mindset of, well, I'm not lifting that heavy. I mean, it's just 420 pounds. I mean, that guy can curl it with one arm. I mean, you know. No, not curl.
Well.
but
No exaggeration.
no,
No.
not at all. Eh? So, anyways, it was fun. It was great. I didn't mind at all going in flight A or whatever. It was just funny.
It was still fun because if you would have been in flight B, you would not have been able to see all my lifts because you would have been training,
Yeah, I would have been warming up.
while I was competing.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Well, I did warm up while you were pushing
well,
on the first one.
on the first
But it would have sucked to miss all of the other ones, that's for sure. That's for sure. So that was Natalie's bench. Then we should probably do mine.
Do
right?
your bench. And
Because
then
it
and
was
then-
all in the same day.
Yeah,
so
yeah, do your bench and then...
we're going to go with my bench. Let's see here. So my 3 attempts, I decided I'd go, well, my opener, because you always have a certain, what can I say, leeway with your second and third, because those are not locked in. You only send your opener, and your opener is locked in. You can't change it once you've sent it to the organizer. But your second attempt, because every time you go on the platform, as soon as you've completed the lift, you go to the head desk and you tell them what your next lift is going to be, right? And your strategy is to be dynamic and change your lifts depending on how you feel after a certain lift. My first attempt, my opener actually, was 100. What was it? I went for 150. Let's go 145 pounds. Yeah. Okay. So my first attempt, I had 57.5. No, that was never mind.
No,
That's-
I was confused.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Apparently.
Your 102 is not there.
I know. That's because I went to 250. Okay, so my first attempt I had sent to the organizer was 102.5 kilograms, which is 226 pounds. And because I know I can do this for 3 reps in training, and it just so happens in my last competition, that was my highest score. That was my 4th attempt. And the record, 102.5. So it's kind of funny that I'm opening now to what my previous record was last competition, which is this is
wonderful.
gratifying, it's satisfying, to know that. You mean that training paid off, obviously. So that was my first attempt, my opener. And depending on how I felt with that, I was optimistically thinking my second one would be 107.5. Which is 237 pounds. I've never tested this in training to be able to do 2 reps of that, but using an app, it tells you this would be about your 95%-ish from your max. So I decided to go with that one for my second attempt, and that's what I told the head desk after my opener, I would be going for 237 pounds. Now, for my third attempt, I wasn't sure if I was going to go just 110 kilos, which would be 243-ish, 242, yeah, 242 pounds, because my personal best as a single is 245 in training for a single. And conservatively, I should have went to 242. Optimistically was 248, which was 112.5 kilos. And I did go with the optimistic route, but it happened I didn't get the lift. And on the replay we can see why, and but even if it doesn't count for the competition, I still managed to push the weight and lock it. So to me, technique was at fault rather than strength. And that's reassuring for me because I know the strength is there to complete that PR, even in training. So it's better. So if we look at my opener here, this was, and it looked easy. Obviously, an opener is always easy. And I've recently just changed how I set up, like going on the bench with my feet like that.
I've never seen you do that.
See, and I hate when it closes like this. Let's play it again. So the opener. So you see, normally my feet are usually further away from my body because I got really, really long legs. So to bring them back behind me to increase my arch, yeah, it's better for my back arch. But it's really hard on my hip flexors.
I didn't understand that.
Sorry, my phone decided.
Well, you don't understand lifting. And it's really hard on my hip flexors, but I've got a lot more hip flexibility with my squats, which are now always at depth, which helped me now get into this position for the bench press. So you see, mobility for other lifts always has carry over onto the other ones. So now I am more stable in this position, and getting into this position I was able to achieve only like 2 or 3 weeks before the meet. So normally you don't switch something that you get accustomed to before a competition, just like 1 week or 2. It's a pretty bold move to actually try this new thing of bracing in competition. Just like Nelly just in 2 weeks ago just learned about leg drive, how to complete it properly. So it's pretty bold and it's fun. But I mean, if you're really a pro athlete, normally you don't change things up in training just before a competition. You change a whole cycle around that. Anyways, but I was able to get into this position and keep my bum on the bench for the whole lift, which is good. I didn't get red lighted at all for that. And for the bench press, as we haven't talked about that, the rules are the feet can't move. The bar can't go down as soon as you start pressing. Obviously, when you bring it down in your chest, you have to wait for the press command. And then when you start pushing, your feet can't move, your bum can't get off the bench, and the bar can never go down. So it always have to go up until it locks out. Once you're at lockout, you have to wait for the rack command. There were a few lifts that they managed to get the lift, but he racked it just before the judge told them to, so that disqualifies the lift, unfortunately, and it is really sad because you accomplished it, right? Anyways, so in here, I got my position properly, and you see the bum, there's no light on it, like it's just barely touching, but it's legal. And to maintain that leg drive during the lift and maintain that say bum, just how can you say that fully? It's like just barely touching the bench. Proprioception tells you that, hey, I can't feel my bum on the bench, so it's really a readaptation to know you're still touching the bench. Nelly initially thought leg drive, because your bum never must not leave the bench, that your entire bum has to be really flat on the bench. That's
what I thought. But leg drive, you keep your bum up. But I still can't feel that the seat is there, though.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
But I find that it plays with your mind during competition. Yeah. Because lots of girls, mostly women, were disqualified because the butt wasn't touching. One lady almost 3 times. Her two first ones were
they saw daylight on there.
They saw daylight under, so I was scared for my.
But it's hard because they didn't even know that their bum lifted up, because even if your bum is touching, you don't really feel it, and you're concentrated on the lift, right? So your feed from that part of your body is just overridden by all your concentration on the lift. So it's really hard to keep focus on the bum not going up, and it's a skill. It's a real skill to maintain your leg drive to a level where your bum will never get off the bench while pushing extreme weights that you need your whole concentration to just get it up. It's very technical. All right, so that was my opener, and it moved super well, and I was basically confirming my previous record, which in that weight class and category, because this is amateur, it's currently the national record for the WPC in men's amateur 82 kilogram class. And I just confirmed it. So my second attempt is going to be breaking the record. I went for 107.5 kilograms, which is 237 pounds. And it's 11 more pounds. It's 11 pounds over my previous record, obviously. So 107.5 right here. Just before. So when you break a record, one, you have to inform the head desk that your next lift will be a record, because they need to do equipment verification, because this is classic raw. You can't have reinforced bodysuit. You can't have obviously a bench press sling, or I don't know how you call that, but in equipped, you're allowed to have a bench press shirt, which improves the elasticity on the eccentric to push it, right? You can't be caught with that in raw. So if you break the record, you go to the judge, and then they verify your equipment, and just to make sure that it is a real record. So that one was the new record, which I will have to submit on the website to get it approved and get my certificate. But all in all, this went really well. Even the judge told me like, yeah, that was easy. You should probably. I hope you're gonna get more weight on that bar. You know, a little chirping. It's fun. But yeah, 3 green lights. So at this point, I was really optimistic, and I went for the 248th third attempt, which is 112.5 kilograms. And as I mentioned earlier, I did not get the lift. I got red lighted, and we'll see in a second why. All right.
Calm down.
Holy crap,
Come on, Sebastian.
and the stream is choppy. And yeah, we lost the stream. I don't know why it's.
Press.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No lift. I know why.
We're having a lot of drop frames. I don't know why you just. What's taking up this memory here? Hold on. I'm just gonna close the browser. Alright. Reset these stats here and see if. Yeah, we're having. There's something taking up all this memory. Let's close this. Sorry guys, just give me a sec here. I gotta clean up this computer. It's having issues with memory, playing video and streaming at the same time. Alright, how's the stream now? Reset these stats. Alright, we're no longer having drop frames. Let's start a video.
Record attempt. Let's go.
Okay.
Calm down.
It's fine.
Yeah, there's lots of drop frames just watching.
Press.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So I got 2 red lights on this lift.
Press.
And off the chest was a little slow, but you see that little jerk down motion that happened? The bar can never go down. And that's where I got the red light. So even though the bar went down, I caught it and I pushed it and locked it. So in my mind, I have the strength to push it. Obviously, I did. I just have to make sure that I don't lose tension in between the lift. Like when I got off the chest, what happened is like the chest wasn't able to push it further to the shoulders, so I went up, and by moving the weight back to my shoulders, it dropped a little bit before the shoulders took over. And
Så god spiller godt, ikke?
there's some rendering lag. Should be back now. Switch scenes. See if that helps. No, the camera's frozen. That's because the Camlink driver crashed, and that's probably what's causing all this lag.
There you go.
All right, so this
We're
is
live.
back on. All right, we're back. I don't know why I don't see the freaking messages here. Like, it doesn't show me the Twitch chat. Is it something about filtering?
Excuse me.
All right, so what if I start this video again?
Record attempt, let's go.
Okay,
Calm down.
it's fine. Come on, Sebastian. Press.
Guard.
Yeah.
No lift. Nice try. I know why.
All right, so that was the bench press. Even though I missed my third attempt, and that didn't count toward the total for the event, only my 107.5 kilogram counted. It's still a national record. It still goes towards my total for the day. So basically, at the end of the event, the total is of both of your best lifts, basically, the third attempts or second, goes towards your total, and to determine the best lifter or the best lifter for men, and depending on the category you're in, they use a Gloss-Brenner formula based on your age, your weight class, to determine who's the best lifter pound for pound, who lifted the most weight pound for pound, basically, based on your body weight and age. Now, I'm not even sure we can move on to the deadlifts with the stream or computer acting up like that.
Well, maybe just then do our one of our main lifts, or give up one main lift. Like,
Instead of openers, just go through the best.
yeah, just show the best. Like, I mean, I failed my third attempt, but it'd be nice to show the strongest one, like your last one.
Oh, yeah, but we'll show this one here.
Okay.
Like, shot that. All right. Well, we'll just go quickly through your opening deadlift. So Nelly went for 125 kilogram deadlift. That was your first.
275, yes.
275. Don't you have the screenshot of what we had planned?
Yeah, but you put 305 for the.
Yeah, it's okay. So your first deadlift was 125 kilos, 275. I think that you never did 3 reps of that, right?
275. I've never tried, but
Yeah, you never confirmed you could do it for 3 reps, but
I
you
can do it
used your 1 rep max, which was 300.
I was doing 265 times 4. So I'm thinking 275
Yeah,
I could have done.
you could have done 3 reps. Yeah, so Natalie's best. We didn't test her lifts with actual reps, but we used her intended 1 rep or intended goal weight she wanted to lift, which was 305, to determine what her 3 lifts should be. And her first attempt was 125 kilos, 275 pounds, which was her opener, which went really well. It went like super fast, like. Yeah, like the bar speed on that thing was like. She even delicately puts the barbell down.
Well, they said to not drop it too hard, so I dropped it nicely.
That's nice, but what do you mean by not dropping? Is just like doing CrossFit style, dropping the barbell and letting it go off the floor. I mean,
I did Romanian style.
yeah, pretty much. Which probably took some more energy off your lower back, but I don't think it was that much. Yeah, lifting, doing deadlifts, you want to conserve as much energy as possible. So holding the barbell down is more time under tension, and it is taking away from your concentric lift, which that's the most important part. When you drop the barbell, obviously the rule is you must remain in control of the barbell all the way down until it stops moving on the floor. So basically you drop it on the floor, but you have to keep both hands on it, and you don't throw it, you just let it drop down, or let the barbell drive you down to the floor. That's how I like to call it. Like, you're not holding it back, but you're just letting it go down on the floor and drag you along with the hands on the barbell. And once the barbell is on the floor and stop moving, then you take your hands off. If you take your hands off the bar before the barbell is on the floor, that's a lift disqualification. So even though you lifted the weight up, if you let it go down and you remove your hand, it's a no lift. So how did it feel for your first deadlift?
It felt good, but after I dropped the bar, my legs just went jello. I thought I was gonna fall.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same thing too.
The organizers looked at me. Are you okay? Are you okay? Yes.
Also, at that point, you had taken your pre-workout.
Yes.
So you had your
Now
own
I was
caffeine.
shaking like this though.
Yeah, you had your caffeine and alpha GPC and theanine and all the
500.
needs. Yeah, so now she was fully pumped on stims and on pre-workout. And also sweets, because we
A few
injected
candies.
for instant sugars, instant carbs. That's direct fuel for your muscles. And yeah, so that went super well, and it was a well planned out opener. I guess it was as easy as an opener should be. So that was pretty good. And then for her second attempt, we decided she would do 130.
2.5.
No, you went to 297, right?
I went to 297.
So we went to 135 kilograms for her
Yes.
second attempt. So that was 20 pounds more.
Yeah, but I already knew I could do it.
Yeah. 297. In training, Natalie confirmed 2 times, second time inadvertently, that
Yes.
she can lift 300 as her 1 rep max, as a single, basically on our personal leaderboard. She's at 300 right now. She tried to lift 305. She thought she was lifting 305. Unfortunately, a plate miscalculation determined that she was still 300, and she lifted it in training a second time. So 300 was her single 1 rep max. So the second attempt, I think we didn't have planned it to 297. We had it planned for 292. But you went optimistically to 297.
I'm kind of happy I did because of what happened for the third.
Exactly. So you kind of, because then you had 5 more pounds because you missed your third. Now, this is pretty much close to her maximum as a second attempt. Or what we should say, confirmed maximum. Because our target for the meet was 305 as her third lift, which was just 8 more pounds, so 2.5 kilos extra, right? But if we look at the 297, and even you guys will be able to say that looked easy. Right, so let's look at the 135 kilos, which is 297 pounds.
0.5. Isn't 297.6? Oh.
It's basically 298.
First loading.
Yeah.
Oh. You can tell them about the.
Don't move the bar.
Finish.
Down.
So with the bar speed there, Natalie's all happy. Even the judge.
It's because I was lightheaded.
Yeah.
They saw my eyes probably go back.
Scott gets up and...
Yeah, it was.
Do you remember what he told you there? You okay? Yeah, he just said you okay.
Yeah. And look at my face.
I'm not sure.
I was proud though. You got like, look at the guy behind. He seemed as happy for me too.
Hilda seems concerned. Is she okay?
Oh,
but Scott's blocking her, so she can't see.
Up next is Kelly.
All right. So here's what happens next, and that's where I take responsibility for this because I'm coaching Natalie basically, and I try to get the best for her competition. And the record for women in her division and weight class is 308.6 pounds. Every time you finish the lift, you have to go to the head desk and tell them what your next lift will be. And that's where, well, we had planned 305, or no, we had planned 308.6.
we had not planned 308. We had planned 303.
Oh, yeah, 303. You're right. 303 pounds for your next lift.
Yeah, which would have been 137.5.
Yeah, so an extra 2.5 kilos, which would be 303. But here's what happened. In competition, what I thought, because this is only my second competition, and for my last competition I was allowed 4th attempts. If those 4th attempts were going to be national records, basically. And I misunderstood what the rule was, and it was further clarified then after a third lift. And it actually what put us into a small bind and ultimately resulted in taking a bad decision. But you can go for a 4th attempt. What I thought was, if the 4th attempt is going to be a national record, I did not expect it to be, while in reality, it has to be, you have to have broken the record on your 3rd attempt with a successful lift in order to get the 4th attempt. And that's where I was like, well, we wanted to break. Both me and her, we both wanted her to break the record for the deadlift. That was our target. And so we wanted to go light on the third with 303, so that their next one would be 314.
Yeah, to break the record of 308. But I didn't know it was 314.
Yes, it was.
And yeah, but initially, because I said, 308, so I could probably do 310, 3 whatever for the record, but
If we looked,
I didn't know that the 2.5 kilos goes up by 5 pounds. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
yeah,
14.
because see, it's 6, close to 5. It's 6 point something pounds. So 140 kilograms is 308.6, which 140 kilograms is the deadlift record for women in 67 kilogram category weight class for amateur women. So with 140, she would have equaled the record, but not broken it.
Therefore, not a fourth lift allowed.
Yeah. And 142.5 is 314.2 pounds, and that would have broken the record. So we were targeting this as the fourth lift, but because we had to break it on a third, we can go for 303 or
380.
so. We had the decision to make. Are we going for the record or not? If we're going for the record, we have to put our third attempt at 142.5 kilograms. But if we decide not to go for the record, then we have to stay at 303
Or go to 308. Yeah, we could.
or 308, equal the record, but use it as for the total for the day, and just, accept that we wouldn't come out with a record for her. And in the pressure of the moment, I kind of felt that I wanted her to feel what breaking a record was, and I know she was pretty hyped about how we had planned for her to break the record on our first meet. And so I suggested that she try and attempt the record. So I told the judge to go with 142.5 kilograms.
Which is 314.
314 pounds.
Which I couldn't really lift.
I know. And also with how the weight had moved and with you on stims and everything, I mean, ultimately it led to a bad decision, obviously. But I mean, we also go to these powerlifting meets to surpass ourselves, and I mean, your second attempt is 300. It's what you can do in training, right? You've confirmed that amount at the powerlifting meet. So all in all, it's still a very, very good numbers. Everybody was impressed. There's no denying that at all. We can't take that away. So even though we were too hungry for the record on the third attempt, I mean, that's competition, I guess, and that's what it is. So here, without further ado, let's look at our third attempt, 142.5 kilograms.
Let's go, Natalie! Go, Natalie! Go, Nat! Go, Shani! Come on, kid. Come on. Go, go!
So it was, the tension was there. So position is very good. And as the lift progresses, tension's on the bar. But then at that point, her back was taking over. You can see the
Yeah.
back rounding a little bit.
Oh, my ass came out of position.
Came up. You're trying to drive your
Ah.
hips a little bit too close without engaging your legs. So right here, what failed you is not your back, it's your legs.
Freaking legs, eh?
All right, so now you're in a stiff-legged deadlift position.
Which my ass should have been much lower to be able to bring it up.
Well, not lower, but because your legs didn't engage, your
My-
knees went back and your hips went up. So
and
you're,
then it hurt my back.
and then you put all the weight on your
My
back.
back. Oh.
But I mean, this is also extremely 15 pounds over what your 1 rep max is, right? So
Yeah.
it's normal, but look, that plate
It went off the floor.
went off the floor
Yeah, I
a little
know.
bit here on the one side. See?
How
So the
much
plate rotated even the plate rotated a little bit. So it went off the floor. And deception. But you attempted it. You had the guts to do
So,
it.
I don't want to have the guts to do it. I want to bring it up.
But now we know what we need to work on, and next time we'll be a bit more conservative. But we're still gonna work to get your training up to the record, so that your maximum in training is going to be the actual record.
Yeah, but in May I'm changing records. There's
You're
no-
changing class, yeah, that's
Classes.
right. Well, we'll look at what the records are. I think they're empty.
They're empty for now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there we go. We'll just put your third lift as the empty bar, and then go have your record.
Yes.
All right. So me, I mean my three attempts were 175 kilos for the opener, 185 kilos for the deadlift for the second. And depending on how both went, I was pessimistically would be 418 pounds, because the maximum single I pulled in training is 420. I confirmed it twice. So 420 is my maximum. So pessimistically, using the kilo conversion, I could have gone 418. And optimistically was 424, which would actually break my own personal record at that point as my third attempt. So my two first attempts were going as planned, and I decided after my second attempt that I would go 100. I would go to 424, and I knew that would break a record. And in my mind, if I broke the record, I'd use my fourth attempt to just have a stab at 200 kilos. You know, just for the sake of it, try and get it off the floor. But I took the decision not to afterwards. But anyways, you'll understand why. My opener went really well. 175 kilos for the first. Obviously, it's an opener.
Down.
So yeah, bar speed on that thing was just like there's no hesitation. It's pretty easy. So opener was a success. I mean, you rarely tank an opener. Rarely. Well, if you know what you're doing.
Going over 400 pounds.
So this is 407 pounds, which is 185 kilos.
Finish it. Yeah.
Down.
No hesitation here either. Rather a little bit slower than the opener. But you can see I still had some left in the tank. I can do that for 2 reps easily. So there's no problem there. And how I felt, I mean, there is no soreness in the back. I didn't feel anything, or even the grip didn't let go. I mean, it felt great. So I decided to go with the optimistic one. So 100. Hold on, I don't have my weights here.
192.5.
Yeah, 192.5 kilos, which is 424 pounds. 4 pounds over my record, my personal record of 420. And also forgot to mention that the national record was mine from October was 402.5 pounds, which was 187.5 kilos, I think. No. Yeah, no, 182.5 kilos.
Yeah.
102.5 kilos, 402.5 pounds. So at my second attempt, I broke the national record, and that I had set previously. My third attempt obviously breaks again that national record, but also breaks my own personal record by 4 pounds. At that point, my fourth attempt, 424, is 22 pounds over my previous record. But anyways, here is the 192.5 kilogram pull, 424 pounds. It was a real grinder. I mean, at some point at their knees, I wanted to drop it.
But with all the people yelling, there's no way you would have dropped it.
Chest up. Finish. That chest up.
So I keep holding my breath every time I see these videos, just because of sheer trying to keep the same form as the lifter that I'm looking at. But yeah, so the tension off the floor is a lot. Obviously, it's more than I have ever pulled. But it was more than I had anticipated. Because how I train here, like I lifted 420 pounds, but my plates are not standard size. So technically they're 1.5 inches less than standard size plates, which means that your bar will technically be close to 1 inch lower from the floor, which is what you call a deficit deadlift. So if you want to train your back or whatever, you would grab the bar lower and makes the lift more difficult. So basically how I'm training here is technically more difficult than lifting weights at a competition using standard size plates and also a thinner diameter bar. Yeah. So the bar is easier to grab because it's a thinner diameter than my bar here, which I train here. And I had that expectation that, 420 here, I confirmed twice, I can pull on a deficit with a larger diameter bar. So I gambled that I would be able to do 424 at the meet as my third attempt. So I won my gamble, but it was not as easy as I thought it would be. And obviously here during the lift, I am in big trouble at the knee level. At that point, when you're lifting, time stops. It's like the Matrix bullet time thing, and it's like you're lifting, and it seems like you've been lifting for like 15 minutes. It's just like, and it just won't go up. And around the knees, I felt like the bar had stopped moving completely, and I felt like I've got no more juice, and it's like I'm gonna drop it. It's like, no, keep it there. As long as they tell you the bar didn't go down, I was like, I'm gonna keep doing it until I can't hold it anymore. But it was still moving, right? Your perception of time is completely way off the map, and it still kept going up very, very slowly, even though I think it's not moving. And especially around the knees, that's where I had my moment where it's like, okay, well, I'm not gonna be able to do this lift. I should just drop it, and then just catching it back before the bar going down, right? Saying, no, you haven't dropped yet. Keep it there. Just hold it there. That's it. Just hold it there for as long as you can. And obviously, I was able to just get that little extra to just pull it up. And that's what's so amazing about this sport, is getting this feeling is awesome. And I have my eyes closed the whole time. Normally, the head just doesn't have to say drop. You have to watch the arm drop to be allowed to drop the bar off the floor. But if you look on my lift here at the end, I have my eyes closed and I don't see anything. But I heard her say drop. Did she say it?
Yep.
So I heard her say drop amongst the cheering, which they're kind of background noise, but it still helps you, I guess, consciously, unconsciously. And anyways, I sort of heard drop. I dropped the bar, and I got one red light from the judge on the right, because apparently the barbell on the right dropped just ever so slightly, but the other judge didn't see the bar drop on the other side. So I got one red light, two green, two white, so the lift is good, and I got the record. And one of the judges is very, very passionate about powerlifting. This is before the show. He's one of the members of the community, which was 33 years old, passed away, and he made an important message. But he also brought up to our attention that the grandfather of Louis Simmons passed away. Louis, yeah, of powerlifting. Louis Simmons passed away recently, and he brought us that to our attention. So he was a little bit emotional about it. Obviously, I don't have. I didn't follow Louis Simmons as he did. I mean, I've just been lifting for 2 years, right? So yeah, I know Louis Simmons, but I didn't go live or train that long under his mentorship, basically, to have him as much of a symbol as he does. But you can clearly see he's very passionate about it, and I love to see his passion afterwards in the videos. I was like, I didn't even notice back then on the platform, because my focus is obviously there. And like, as soon as I dropped the bar, I felt drained completely. Like, no more juice. I have given everything that I wanted, that I could put into that lift. And there you see Scott right here on the left with his arm up, cheering like I've never seen anybody cheer someone before. And it felt really great to see this. Like, he's super happy. And you can see how much he loves this sport by seeing these grinding lifts that takes everything out of your body. It's such an experience. It's fun. It's really, really cool. So that was it. That was the third last lift. After that, when I went to the head desk, based on how I felt after this thing, they asked me, "Do you want to do it for a fourth attempt?" And I'm like, no. I gave everything I had left in that lift. There was absolutely zero juice in it. It's like driving a Mustang with a full tank, pedal to the floor, and seeing the fuel go from there and just nothing left in the tank. The car won't move anymore. It's just, that's it. One drag race. You're done.
But it was 3.
Yeah, but that one lift.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, there's no more ATP. You can no longer get any more ATP from creatine, from glycogen, or whatever. There's just nothing left. And it's a really, really weird feeling. Even in my previous meet, I haven't felt like that after a lift. And to see it from an exterior view afterwards, because obviously I have different proprioception over there. I have a different perspective of how my lift went. For me, it lasted 15 minutes. It lasted long there, even for people looking at it. It was a huge grind, but most of the lifters there know what it feels like, right? So they know that for me, it lasted super long, and they just come to you and say, like, that was the craziest list I've ever seen. And it's just 424 pounds. I'm in flight A. The next one starts like at 500 something. I mean, you know, but we all understand the relativity of the weight lifted versus your body weight. And that's what made this sport really something of an accomplishment, and how we can feel of the accomplishment we've made and to be proud of it. I mean, it's just so refreshing. Feels great. And
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you did feel that way as well, right?
Yeah, would have been nice to lift up my 308, but it was still fun.
It was your first. I mean,
But then we still got
yes. So come to the event. Basically, how they determine, because at every competition, yes, you could break national records for every lift, nationally, whatever. But for the competition, there are obviously usually winners. They use the formula that's called the Gloss-Brenner formula. So they take your total. So take your best bench lift, your best bench. Take that weight and add it to your best deadlift, and that's your total. And with your total, they apply a coefficient, which is the Gloss-Brenner formula. They multiply that by that coefficient and the coefficient is based off of your age and your weight, and then determines that pound for pound, lifting that weight at a certain weight and size and body weight is more impressive, basically. So after they've applied the coefficients to everyone, you see who scored the best with the weight they lifted at the event. And so for the raw amateur, which is drug tested, right? Because there's a division where you don't test for drugs, so technically you would be competing against people using other substances to, well, performance enhancing drugs, basically. But us, we were in the amateur category, which was tested, so we can get tested for substances. But anyways, in that category, for the total amount of weight lifted at a certain body weight using the Gloss-Brenner formula, Natalie got third place at her very first meet. With all the women there. And as the organizer said when he displayed it, it was very, very, very close between the three position. It was like 0.1 difference between all three or 0.01.
I don't know. I got nothing to
You
say.
don't know what to say?
No.
How do you feel receiving third place?
Oh, I was happy. I didn't think, because I failed my one bench press and one deadlift, I wasn't expecting to win third. So I was pretty happy. It made for the end of the meet to be more happy.
It's because we always have in our minds that we haven't lifted something impressive, especially when you fail some attempts. It's like, well, I failed my target weight, which for us is a record. For us is something impressive because that's what we want to lift. And it kind of diminishes our accomplishment, or what we think is an accomplishment, for our second lifts. But our second lifts, added together, made up a total that is still impressive to win third place at the event, which was really, really close to first place,
If I would
even with just the second attempts. Right?
if I would have,
If-
when I got my deadlift, my bench or my deadlift, I would have been first.
I know.
But that's okay. Third is fine.
It's, you have a place on the podium on your very first meet. And to keep things into perspective, I mentioned her that my first powerlifting meet, I came up third as well. But later on, I've learned that there was a mistake in the formula, and I was not actually third. So I lost that title afterwards. Kurt mentioned to me there was a mistake in the calculation. But even then, even if I had...
Well, you had what? You finished what then?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, you were under third.
Yeah, I was under third.
Okay.
But then, still, at the event, was named third at the event. And so I felt, okay, cool, that's great. And I kind of feel like her. It's like I wasn't expecting to win anything. But also at that point, I was the only guy competing in that division, and I broke records nationally, which I didn't even know I could break records nationally at my first powerlifting meet, right? But there was nobody competing at my weight class and my age class, so there were no records set. So I was the first one to set them, right? So all my lifts were records, and I thought I had won third place at that point. But like I said to Natalie, I was like, you have already preset records that you went there and you wanted to break. Well, at least for the deadlift. So the bar was higher than me. Me, at my first powerlifting meet, I could have lifted the empty bar and I would have set a record. And it's not, you can't compare both. I mean, you won third place, a real one,
Yeah.
right? At your first powerlifting meet, with the totals of only your second attempts, with other people that had already preset records in your category. And for me, that's more impressive than what I've accomplished in my first powerlifting meet.
Thank you.
So, moving on to me, that was my second powerlifting meet. I tanked my third on the bench press. So only my second attempt counted, but my total with my deadlift and my second attempt of the bench press with the Glossbrenner formula, I ended up winning first place. And I have not yet received an email saying that unfortunately there was a miscalculation
That
this
would
time.
suck.
So I'm very happy. I was not expecting to win first place, to be honest, even if I tanked my bench press. So that means, it literally means that the weight I lifted at my age and my body weight was the most impressive at the competition. And it's not to say that other people's lifts were not impressive. They looked way more impressive than mine. But when it's put under perspective using the Glossbrenner formula, that's how they score it. I was like astonished to see the guy who lifted 600 pounds.
Yeah.
I was on his first meet, and a guy also that was his first powerlifting meet, but was coming out of a back hernia.
Yeah.
That was surgery. He had surgery?
Yeah, he had surgery.
2 months before me, and he was lifting like 500 pounds. 2 months after his surgery with a disc hernia. Obviously, he said, like, in training I can lift way more than this, but I'm keeping the weight low. I don't want to injure myself, but I still want to, experience powerlifting. And even if you get injured, there's nobody can tell you you shouldn't be doing this lift anymore, ever. And that's what I like to see. His accomplishment is like more awesome in my book than what I got. And yes, I'm very proud, but it's to always put it in perspective and look at other lifters. It's just a super great experience. It was super fun. Super cool. And nationals will be in June.
I want to go.
Me too. So Natalie enjoyed her powerlifting meet so much she wants to now come to the nationals in June.
Because there's no record set now for the new category and my new weight.
So you're just gonna bring your own barbell empty and it's like, here you go.
Yeah.
I just set my record.
No, I'm gonna set it high enough that they can't be knocked down. Oh,
Yes, that was one of my philosophies too for this powerlifting meet. I kept my body weight at the same class that was in the first meet, just because I wanted to break my own records, but also wanted to further my records so that, to try and let them stay there for as long as possible, to get my name in the book for as long as possible. I mean, obviously other people might come and try and break them, and I mean, it's setting the bar for other people to try and attain, right? That goal. But it was fun. Nationals, here we come.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if my computer is going to be able to use this. Or do this. Let's try and... I don't know if we will be able to browse without losing too many frames here. We're losing a bunch of frames. Holy crap, that's like super slow. Let's reset this and see. Let's go to Firesburg. Oh, I got some links, but if we go, I think I have them in my pages, but I think it was on Iron Horse gear. I've got way too many drops frames. It's like the page is not even loading. This computer's crap. Crap. I think what I'm going to do is going to set up my gaming computer to come and do these freaking live streams. Alright, so obviously you didn't take the rest of the text I typed in. We're at 13% drop frames. This is not working out. So on the Iron Horse gear page, there's footage. There's extra footage of the event. Hey, that was my deadlift. But yeah, there's extra footage on the Iron Horse Gear Facebook page you can go to and watch extra footage for the event. There's a few that was live. There's me in front row. Nelly here.
Easy lift.
Yeah, we got way too many drop frames to be able to view that footage at the same time as running the stream. So, fortunately, we're gonna have to end it here. Tune in next week. I mean, we're gonna be in deload, but we're still gonna do live stream on Saturday and have a few peeps over for training and coaching. So stay tuned on Saturday, and until then we will be registering
For the nationals.
We're gonna have to find that page, and I'm gonna go and submit my records so that we can get the process of getting the certificates and the record book. And thanks, Rebecca, for all the hard work about putting in the records in. I know it's been a little problematic, but and then you have to update them again. I'm sorry.
Why are you sorry?
Well, she worked so hard to get the other ones in, and then she has to.
But she
Right.
told you it's part of her job.
I know. It's all good. See you guys next week, or on Saturday. Come back and tune in. Take care,
you.
guys. Thanks for
Bye-bye.
watching. Stream ended.
Forget about the past, we destroyed it anyway. I got a lighter in my pocket, but got nothing to say. I'm far away and I'm missing you, but I know that I will see you again. As I remember yesterday, thinking about who I used to be, I can feel a change is coming, but feelings are my enemy. Sealed in with the reflection, close your eyes on this confusion. Shed some light on the situation. I can't tell you that we will make it through. Forget about the past, we destroyed it anyway. I got a lighter in my pocket, but got nothing to say. I'm far away and I'm missing you, but I know that I will see you again. Forget about the past, there was nothing we could do. I left a letter in your pocket, explaining it to you. Now I'm without you by my side, and sometimes I miss those crazy times.
Of you still lives in me. Everything I do and all that I see can't seem to find a way to let go. I'll set my heart free. This feeling drags on with me day by day. Time acts like a status to me. I'm missing you in every way. I'm slowly dying. Can you see?
Forget about the past, we destroyed it anyway. I got a lighter in my pocket, but got nothing to say. I'm far away and I'm missing you, but I know that I will see you again. Forget about the past, there was nothing we could do. I left a letter in your pocket, explaining it to you. Now I'm without you by my side, and sometimes I miss those crazy times. As I remember yesterday, thinking about who I used to be, I can feel a change is coming, but feelings are my enemy. Forget about the past, we destroyed it anyway. Forget Forget about the past, we